Great. Yeah, thank you guys for coming. Yeah, it's an honor to be at this event and speak. Hopefully it'll be somewhat interesting. I know user experience is something that all of us encounter every day. Any digital product that we encounter has been designed with a user in mind, whether that design has been given a lot of thought or just kind of thrown together. So before we get going too far, I want to establish kind of a common definition of user experience. Don Norman is credited with coining or at least popularizing the term user experience, and his definition is as follows. User experience, there we go, sorry. User experience encompasses all aspects of the end user's interaction with the company, its services, and its products. So within his definition are 3 levels of user experience. The first being single interaction level, and this is an experience a user has with a single device to perform a single task. So this example would be purchasing a t-shirt on a mobile website. So just one touch point. Journey level is a user's experience as she works toward a goal, and this can span multiple interaction levels and devices. So this example would be filing an insurance claim. So this could be, taking pictures on your phone with the mobile app, calling in to your agent or emailing your agent, and then receiving a check in the mail. So a few different touch points with journey level. And then relationship level is all interactions a person has with a company throughout the life of the customer relationship. So this not only encompasses single interaction and journey level interactions, but also requires all of these different touch points working together to create a cohesive experience. So that would be, how the website interacts with mobile app, how social media fits into kind of the marketing mix, call center procedures, all sorts of things kind of make up that last piece. So typically, when user experience is referred to, most people think of just a single interaction level with digital products. And then the other two, the journey and relationship level, typically fall into what a lot of people refer to as customer experience. So for that reason, I'm going to focus mostly on single interaction levels with digital products. So with any digital product design project, there are users, and these users have goals or needs that they want to be met. And it's the digital product experience that allows these users to meet their needs. And it's the goal, typically, or we would like to think, of designers to allow users to achieve these goals with as little friction as possible. So there's user goals, but there's also, with any project, business goals that come into play. And oftentimes, these are misaligned. So typically, this misalignment is what causes businesses to neglect users and prioritize profits over users when it comes to user experience. So the first example is the pop-up. If you spend any amount of time browsing the web, you'll encounter various pop-ups and ways that these are presented. But every pop-up creates a disruption in the user's journey toward their goal. Probably the worst example would be an entrance pop-up. So this is a pop-up that triggers right when a user lands on a website. And this is an immediate interruption and oftentimes doesn't even give users the ability to understand what the company does or what services are offered. And just to note, it is the Nielsen Norman Group did a survey, and it is the most hated advertising technique. So why is it used? Clearly, it compromises user experience, but it's really tough to quantify what that cost is for users, and it's much easier to quantify the benefits that companies receive from it. So for example, if a company sends 10 emails per month to 100 subscribers, and that generates $1,000 a month, they know that every new email subscriber is worth, on average, $1 per send and $10 per month. So it's very easy for companies to understand, what the next email subscriber is worth. There are some less intrusive options, though. Here you can see on the left, the bottom bar. This slides up after a user has scrolled at X percentage of the page, so maybe 75% of the page, or has been on the site over a certain period of time. So this allows the user to work toward their goal and gain some value from the site prior to being interrupted. And on the right is the exit intent pop-up. And this is used quite a bit as well. This is kind of a last-ditch effort for companies to capture an email address or a SMS mobile number to continue the conversation past the single interaction without, like I said, compromising the experience too much. The next example is on-site advertising, and this can take, various forms. But all on-site advertising, creates distractions and at times interruptions. As I spoke to earlier, the survey by the Nielsen-Norman Group, found kind of a baseline for hatred, I guess you could say, for advertising. And like I said, the pop-up is worse. Autoplay video ranked very poorly as well. So that's a video that plays automatically when you arrive before the video that you came to the site begins playing. An intra-content ad is kind of a banner ad, and that can appear almost anywhere within the main content of the website. And then related links are ads disguised as related articles that seem like they're an additional article or something to read, but it's actually a sponsored advertisement. The next example is still within the same category. They're deceptive links, and thankfully Google has started to crack down on these a little bit in terms of SEO. But these occur on web pages requiring an action such as downloading a file. These ads are disguised as links, and they're placed near the download button, tricking users into clicking them. So it really creates a poor experience for users, and like I said, it's being cracked down on, and it actually falls kind of into the line of dark patterns, which I'll get to briefly. So what's the cost? The Nielsen-Norman Group conducted a study on the effects of increased advertising on a music streaming platform. They found a 3% drop in use of the service with increased advertising, and a 0.9% drop in user loyalty for each additional ad played per hour. And user loyalty here is defined at the rate at which customers return to conduct repeat business. So it's very clear that, while it is easy to understand the benefits of, pop-ups and ads and things like that for companies, oftentimes the cost is something that gets neglected in the, the meeting room or the boardroom where some of these decisions are taking place. So dark patterns in UX design. So these examples here are, all fall into a category, like I said, referred to as dark patterns or black hat UX. Harry Brignall is a UX specialist who coined the term, and his definition is as follows. Dark patterns refer to user interface designs which are carefully and intentionally crafted to trick a user into doing things they might not otherwise do. So this example here is an example of Amazon Prime. Takes about 3 steps to sign up for a Prime account and quite a lot more to get out. And that's referred to as a Roach Motel. So it's very easy to get into and hard to get out of. If we can play this. Can we play this up top? There we go. All right.
Dark patterns are features of interface design, crafted to trick users into doing things that they might not want to do, but which benefit the business in question. Here's an example. Have you ever tried to delete your Amazon account? Here's the Amazon homepage. What's the first thing you might think to do? The obvious place to look is the account dropdown here. Once you're in here, you look around, it's a lot of information, but if I'm interested in deleting my account, I think that your account is probably a good place to go. Once I'm on this page, there's a lot more information. Payment options, login and security, and a bunch of stuff down here. Unfortunately, you could click every link on your account page, but none would deliver you to a place where you could actually delete it, because it's not here. In order to actually delete your Amazon account, you have to go all the way down to the bottom of the page, and under Let Us Help You, click Help. Once you're in here, you have to navigate to Need More Help because, putting it on this page would just be too easy. Then click Contact Us. This is where it starts to get ridiculous. It's still nowhere to be seen, but of the 4 options on the top that you want help with, click Prime or Something Else. You want the something else. In this Tell Us More About Your Issue dropdown, there's still nothing that suggests account deletion. You just have to know to click Login and Security. And then in a second dropdown, there it is. The magic button, Close My Account. Except in order to actually do that, you now have to have a chat conversation with an Amazon associate who's going to tell you all the reasons account deletion is a bad idea. See, you can't delete the account yourself. They have to do it for you. This is a dark pattern, a crappy user experience that
So it's clear Amazon, really wants to let you delete your account, as can be seen in that video. The next example is Confirmshaming. So this is a psychological trick intended to shame users into making the choice that businesses deem the correct one. So in this example, somebody's using an ad blocker. The correct response is turn off the ad blocker. The incorrect response is I'm a bad person. And that's how you close the modal. This example here, the correct option is live healthier. The incorrect option is I don't want to be healthier. So pretty clear what they think the right option is there. And then this example, staying in touch with updated news and things like that. The correct answer is obviously, and the incorrect is that I'm boring. So forced continuity is when a free trial ends, your credit card starts getting charged, oftentimes without any notice or an easy way to cancel. So this oftentimes, you'll sign up for a free, 14 or 30-day trial, and the next time you hear from the company will be that your card has been charged. And this, while it might increase subscriptions, there's a very clear cost, that can be measured in terms of, customer service response. And that's something that, a lot of bad UX patterns will really increase costs when it comes to customer service. The next example is sneak into basket. And this is when an additional product or service is added to the user's cart and checkout flow, requiring the user to opt out to forego the additional item or service. And in this example, GoDaddy, as you sign up and purchase a domain, they automatically add privacy protection, and they require users to opt out in order to not be charged. And while it might be beneficial for the user to have, it's very unclear, what that additional charge is if somebody doesn't notice this step as they're going through. The next example is a somewhat published example of LinkedIn, their sign-up flow. So it's really detailed by Dan Schlosser. He wrote an article where he details in depth 8 separate occasions in which LinkedIn tries to trick the user into adding your email address contact book. And it's very craftily disguised and actually resulted in a $13 million class action lawsuit penalty due to the tricking of users through the sign-up flow. So in this example, after filling out your basic information, LinkedIn asks you to get started by adding your email address, and as you grant permissions from Google, they slip an additional permission in that allows them to sync with your address book, and then follow up multiple times with very spammy invitation emails to as many contacts as they want from your list. Here's another example, again disguised as confirm my Google account. They slip that, like I said, that additional permission in, and that allows them to send all of those spammy invites. And again, clicking from confirm your email address, it defaults your email into the next screen, and makes it seem as though that's part of the step for confirming your email address, but in actuality, they're importing your address book, and again, sending those invitations. So these various, tricks and tactics, like I said, might result in an increase in short-term profits, but they compromise the user loyalty and trust, and very infrequently lead to, sustained growth for a company. Prioritizing the user can actually be the best way to align business and user goals, and advance both in the long run. So this is a case study that Athenahealth performed. They're obviously a healthcare company in the United States, and they were measuring the relationship between UX metrics and overall business performance. And they found a statistically significant connection between task-level UX metrics, such as performing a task successfully or perceived ease of use, relating that to overall UX metrics, so overall satisfaction with user experience, overall usability, and then that leading to referrals, user retention, and revenue. So they found a very strong correlation between these different metrics, kind of proving the point that prioritizing users and investing in user experience actually can advance business goals as well. And then Bain & Co., a big consulting firm as well, did a study a little more vaguely. There wasn't a lot of detail in this one, but they found a 10% increase in user retention leads to a 30% average increase in a business's value. So this shows that investing in users results in increased user loyalty, and that user loyalty can really exponentially grow the value of the business through referrals and word of mouth, and users coming back and things like that. So I hope this gives you a little bit of a perspective on UX design and how it kind of fits into overall business, and how the two can interact. Prioritizing the user might be difficult to sell in the short term, but it really reaps immense benefits in the long run and can really align user goals and business goals. So thank you all for coming. Really appreciate it. Like I said, it's an honor to join you for this conference. Please, feel free to reach out or visit our website if you want to chat or want to watch the Amazon video again and laugh. So, thank you.
I want to thank Kirby Crook for a great lecture, and thank you all for coming.